The central bank is monitoring what is happening, and I can assure everyone that we're alive to our responsibilities and will do what is right for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Naira notes redesign. President Buhari tasks CBN on due diligence as House of Representatives seeks suspension of CBN's cash withdrawals policy. Yuletide travels. Federal government to open the second Niger bridge. Plus, Mines and Steel Ministry takes center stage at Scorecard Series. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja. Michael Olale joins us from Lagos. The Central Bank of Nigeria has been given the go-ahead to faithfully implement the new Naira notes policy as planned without fear of favor. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave this assurance while granting audience to the governor of the nation's apex bank in Daura, also asked him not to bother about public criticisms. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes denomination were formally unveiled. How far so far? This was why the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, came calling at the Daura residence of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I'm visiting Daura to assure the president that things are going on well about the currency, as well as issues bordering on the cashless policy that we recently introduced.
So how did the president respond to your presentation?
Very, very happy, and he says we should carry on our work. No need to fear, no need to bother about anybody.
Without doubt, some people are bothered, especially with the cashless policy, as the House of Representatives in particular made a strong case for the suspension of the cash withdrawal limit. Mr. Emefiele said the CBN is not unmindful of the concerns raised by the National Assembly and is prepared to respond appropriately. He, however, explained that adequate electronic channels have been put in place to aid the conduct of banking and financial service transactions by those in need across Nigeria seamlessly.
This is not targeted at anybody. It is just meant for the good and the development of the Nigerian economy. And we can only just continue to appeal to Nigerians to please see this policy the way we have presented it. We will be reviewing from time to time how this is working, because I cannot say that we are going to be rigid, but it is not to say that we will reverse. It is not to say that we will change timing, but whether it is about tweaking some amounts to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower and all the rest of them, we will do so because we are humans. We want to make sure that we make life good for our people. So there's no need for anybody to worry. The central bank is monitoring what is happening, and I can assure everyone that we're alive to our responsibilities and will do what is right for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Mr. Emefiele emphasized that the prevailing situation in the country, where over 85% of the cash in circulation is outside the banking system, cannot be allowed to continue. Already, he explained, there are more than 1.4 million registered super agents across the country where people can conduct banking services.
Yesterday, the banks have received the new cash and they have started dispensing them. I can only just assure everyone that it will go around. Let us just be calm, put the painted and unpainted currency will operate concurrently as legal tender. But by January 31, the unpainted one will not be useful to you again. So please take it to your banks as quickly as possible.
So how much have you been able to get back into the banking system at the moment?
I mean, we at the central bank, we have taken close to more than $500 billion, and with the banks, we also have close to about $500 billion.
He said Nigeria, as the largest economy in Africa, need to leapfrog into the cashless economy. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In a major push for funding and technical support for the Nigerian Energy Transition Plan, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will be delivering a keynote address at a high-level meeting hosted by the Rockefeller Foundation in New York, with global agencies and potential financial partners in attendance to facilitate activation of the voluntary carbon market in Nigeria and on the African continent. A statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Laulu Akonde, indicates that the Vice President is expected to interact with U.S. officials on generating resources for clean energy transitions for accelerated growth in Nigeria and other African countries. He departs Vietnam today on his way to the New York meeting. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has asked the Nigerian Legion to produce a comprehensive database of military veterans with their profiles and qualifications to enable government tap into their expertise as ex-service personnel. This was when a delegation of the Nigerian Legion decorated him with the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day emblem in his office. Mitairi Ikpen reports.
The Nigerian military is continually on its toes, battling insurgency and engaging in peacekeeping operations around the world. These engagements come with casualties, and the dependents of fallen heroes are left to face the realities of life.
As time goes on, we become weak. We're not growing younger. Those who are even their husband died and left them in their prime, they are growing old. Stress, workload is making us weak.
As the SGF formally receives the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day emblem, the needs of military veterans and their dependents are brought to the front burner.
Perhaps give us a quota, employment quota, because we have a number of these fallen heroes that have left behind their dependents, that even after graduation, after the sacrifices of the widows and widowers.
We can work with my office so that we begin to work towards the generation of a data bank, so that you can have somewhere, okay, assuming current exercise of recruitment is going on and we are looking for medical doctors, and we say, okay, Nigerian Legion, can you give us 3-4 experienced nurses, medical doctors who have worked and retired? You should be able to, on the top of a computer portal, generate those kind of information for us.
Everyone here agrees that more needs to be done to improve the welfare of veterans and leverage on their expertise for internal security and national development. In Abuja, Mitairi Ikpen, NTA News.
The Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, admonishes public office holders to emulate President Muhammadu Buhari and the provision of infrastructure and enhancing the capacity of the civil service on service delivery. Speaking at the commissioning of the 54-seater State House Multipurpose Training Center, a renovated ward and 3 new ambulances at the State House Clinic, the Chief of Staff says President Buhari is determined to leave Nigeria better than he met it and will be remembered for a legacy of leadership by example. Professor Gambari affirms that the Buhari administration is committed to promoting excellence in public service driven by ICT and adds that aspiring permanent secretaries must pass ICT proficiency tests. The federal government's desire to look inwards and promote local content is yielding positive results as Nigeria saves $300 million annually from buying barite from abroad for the oil and gas sector. Minister of Mines and Steel Development Olamilekan Adigbite stated this while making his presentation at the ongoing PMB Scorecard series. Anthony Folson reports.
Clearly, the huge endowment of Nigeria in mineral deposits distributed across the different geographical zones, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development is primarily set up to spur rapid and beneficial development of the country's mineral resources.
Part of our efforts to make sure that the downstream mineral policy took effect, we realized that the oil and gas industry, they use barite in their mud drilling mix, and they were importing barite from Morocco to the tune of $300 million every year. But Nigeria had barites. The problem was we were not processing our barites. So the ministry took it upon itself as a project, and in 2021, last year, we were able to produce made in Nigerian barites.
With a clear roadmap for the growth and development of the Nigerian mining industry, an immediate, short-term, medium-term, long-term, and ongoing policy has been laid out.
So we were able to create a lot of jobs through that. That's not all. While we were on these missions abroad, we spoke to a lot of people and they decided coming to Nigeria.
Fielding questions from journalists, the minister spoke on illegal mining and plans for Ajaokuta plant.
We are not just talking to Russians. Of the 11 companies I mentioned, of course, 3 are Russian origins. People who are interested to bring their own money into Ajaokuta to make sure it works. Because the plant is still good. If you put in the right amount of money, it will start producing.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the legacies of the APC administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari in the area of food security are largely being downplayed. The minister stated this at the 9th edition of the PMB Scorecard 2015 to 2023, which featured the Minister of Mines and Steel. Anthony Forson has that report as well.
The scorecard series, launched in October, is designed to showcase the successes achieved by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led APC government.
This administration has done well since assuming office in this area. I'm sure many of us have seen video clips of empty supermarket shelves, even in the developed world.
This was made possible by President Muhammadu Buhari's position that Nigerians must grow what they eat.
Many neither understood the importance of that admonition nor appreciated its relevance. Well, it turned out that the consequence of that statement, which made Nigerians to look inward and rely less on imports, saved Nigerians from hunger, especially during the prolonged global lockdown.
This response to presidential admonishment saved Nigeria immensely.
In 2020, when the pandemic started, we were just 5 years into the Buhari administration's food security program, but we had enough food to eat and enough fertilizer to farm, thanks also to the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. Recall, distinguished and gentlemen, that even before the pandemic, our borders were closed and food imports were largely banned. So, if we can survive a pandemic with only 5 years of food security journey, just imagine what we can do in 10 years.
The minister pointed out that the progress achieved towards food sufficiency is attributed to the increase in the number of fertilizer plants in the country from 10 in 2015 to 142, and the increase as well in rice mills in the country, which rose from 10 in 2015 to 80 as at today. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has described as false a video circulating on various social media platforms showing some INEC staff at Festac Town, Lagos, extracting voter identification numbers VINs from permanent voters cards PVCs and entering same into their cell phones. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, notes that the harvesting of VINs from PVCs is part of taking of inventory of uncollected cards provided for in the new guidelines for PVC collection. He said INEC has decided to establish a PVC collection process that includes an online component where registered voters could ascertain if their PVCs are ready before providing their details. A resolution that will see to the end of fuel scarcity in the country within the next 48 hours has been sealed at a meeting between the Department of State Services and stakeholders in the oil and gas industry. Francis Form reports that the spokesperson for the DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, presenting the resolutions of the meeting to journalists, said NNPC Limited has given an assurance that there is 1.1 billion litres of petrol that will last beyond the Yuletide in stock.
NNPC agreed and resolved that moving forward they will sell the products at an official ex-depot price to all marketers. On the side of the DSS, we agreed where need be to provide security to ensure seamless distribution. But overall, the stakeholder meeting resolved, and we are insistent on such resolution that the fuel distribution system must improve, or the challenges must be completely eliminated in the next 48 hours.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority also assures that the queues at filling stations will soon disappear as marketers commence massive loading of petroleum products.
Take effect within 48 hours. So we're hoping that with the efficiency in supply and in distribution, both by marine and by trucking, that in the next 48 hours, the commitments will really start. And that will hopefully will be seeing a positive environment away from the kind of difficult situation that we're experiencing across the nation.
The regulatory authority further asserts that the Yuletide will not witness fuel scarcity. You're watching the network news and NTA. Up ahead, as across the Niger after this break.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, Gombe State, wishes to invite the party's chieftains, stakeholders, support groups, and the general public to the official flag-off of the Gombe State gubernatorial campaign rally ahead of the 2023 general elections. During the flag-off ceremony, the APC governorship candidate, His Excellency Muhammad Inwayahaya from Marjin Gombe, his running mate, and other APC candidates for the 2023 elections will be formally unveiled at the event slated for Saturday 10th December 2022 at the Pantami Township Stadium, Gombe. Come and be part of the process of consolidation of good governance and development of the jewel in the savannah. One good term deserves another. Nasara daga Allah. Announcer, Publicity Subcommittee.
Glow wishes you a Merry Christmas. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the introduction of a new series of 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes to be launched on December 15, 2022. These new banknotes will circulate side by side with the current 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknote, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023. Banks are now open from Monday to Saturday to accept customers' deposits. So, hurry to your banks to deposit only 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes in your possession. To make it seamless, the CBN has suspended bank charges on all deposits made during this period, and there is no limit on how much an individual can deposit. Remember, the current 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira banknotes remain legal tender until January 31, 2023. Do not reject it, but ensure the banknotes get to your bank before the deadline of January 31, 2023. The Naira is our national pride. Let's embrace the new currency. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Our journey home begins with a single step. It doesn't matter which direction we walk in. We'll always find our way home.
There you are.
Sometimes we pick up friends along the way.
Ishaya, our best friend.
Sometimes we make enemies.
People love a good friend.
Because there is no journey without an adventure. Every day we move forward into the unknown. Because every step forward brings us closer to home. This is our home. Join us as we showcase the best from Destination Nollywood. Because Nollywood is home on Netflix.
My people, my name is Emeka. Mekus Kamat. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when they get bust, then my eye open. I know to that 419 you be. Now when EFCC bab them, they come bab me too. Now he make me they warn you. All of them when they do business like me, where they carry big money, when I go sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. They could shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If he pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you don't do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen. Or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down. Pata for your hand. No talk say I no want you.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Thanks for staying with us. The House of Representatives wants the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the policy on cash withdrawals bill to take effect from the 9th of January 2023. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the resolution was adopted after Representative Magaji Da'u Aliyu raised the issue as a matter of urgent public importance.
The Memorandum of Understanding signed between Galaxy Backbone and Huawei Technology is the subject of interest. Representative Benjamin Mzandu said the MOU was signed in 2018 for the design, manufacture and deployment of the kit that controls data movement across ministries, departments and agencies of government, which as agreed is to be executed in 2 phases.
All through the execution and completion phases of the project funded by part of the credit facility, Galaxy Backbone and to a large extent the Ministry of Communication have frustrated efforts to oversight progress of the project.
The House also resolves to investigate the death of an outpatient of the Federal Medical Center Jabi FCG due to alleged negligence.
Mr. Paul Edmond died of cardiac arrest at the medical center, sent the patient home without proper medical examination and treatment due to the fact that he was adjudged to have come late to the hospital to complain of severe chest pain.
3 bills were read, the third Simon passed, among them the bill to establish Institute of Economics of Nigeria, while 2 bills passed second reading, including the bill to establish University of Health Sciences, Osun State, from Femi Fakeye.
As a training institute for the development of medical and health sciences, and make comprehensive provisions for the management and administration of the university.
The House considered and approved the establishment of the Nigeria Correctional Service Trust Fund, sponsored by Anayo Edwin, which seeks to, among others, provide security equipment and training for personnel. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Staying with the legislature, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has urged leaders at all levels to give the desired attention to livestock sector in Nigeria. He stated this when he granted audience to the Minister of Agriculture, Muhammad Abubakar. Ignatius Mko reports.
The minister in company of President of Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association, Adetu Beru Olutoyin, came to brief President of the Senate on events in the sector and to present awards to him as champion for pest control and animal health sector.
That over the years, through his foundation, the Senate President has installed numerous solar boreholes for livestock farmers.
It is however clear that government cannot continue to tackle this problem alone, especially in the face of competing demands from other sectors and dwindling public sector resources.
Senator Lawan was particularly concerned that the livestock sector in Nigeria appears to be neglected.
And I find it strange that here you have a sector that has the potential of boosting our economy by maybe 30, 33, 34, 35 trillion naira annually, and yet it's neglected.
In another development, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, briefed Senate Committee on Special Duties on capital bilateral allocation of 30 billion naira in the 2022 budget of Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and 206 billion in 2023 budget, which she said was mistakenly given a wrong
want to clearly state that the allegation that the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning padded budgets of the affected ministries by inserting projects in question makes absolutely no sense. If the projects were in the budget of this MDAs, the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning cannot procure them.
Subsequently, going forward, just like you rightly said, there has to be proof and evidence, that due process, was properly followed.
We are not witch-hunting anybody, and we are not accusing anybody whatsoever. It is clarification that we want.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TETFO has convened a public hearing on the establishment bills of federal universities of agriculture and education in Dambata and Bichi, Kano State, sponsored by Senator Barau Jibrin, and Federal College of Agriculture, Obiaja, Edo State, sponsored by Senator Clifford Odia. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The federal government will open the second Niger Bridge from the 15th of December to the 15th of January, and this is to ease movement of traffic for the Christmas. Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Rajiv Fashola, stated this at a meeting with contractors in Abuja. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
It's weeks to Christmas and the roads are expected to become busier. Making this road safer and free of gridlock, the Minister of Works and Housing brought critical stakeholders together. He said those traveling for Christmas this year will have a smooth ride.
We will expect to see efficient, reduced travel time if we use the road properly. So sometimes you've heard that there are going to be religious events, crossover. Sometimes traffic might slow down. FRS is there to move it. But please be patient.
Nigerian public can expect a better experience traveling home and traveling back during this coming year, and we hope that we keep improving as a lot of new road infrastructure projects are completed.
Investment in infrastructure has turned around the lucks of ordinary Nigerians, keeping minimal the impact of poverty, according to the minister. The EMBA meeting takes place annually to execute plans for smooth journeys during the EMBA month. In Abuja, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
Key players on an inspection visit to the site of rehabilitation and expansion of Lagos-Badagry Expressway, as well as that of reconstruction of Bida-Lapai-Lambata Road in Niger State, have commended the intervention of NNPC Limited in selected roads across the country. The intervention under Executive Order number 007 on Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme is part of federal government's efforts at opening up the roads network for economic viability. Lydia Sampson reports.
Garba Haruna, a resident of Labata for over 2 decades, says the reconstruction of the Bida-Lapai-Labata road, which was deplorable since his childhood, can be compared to a dream come true.
We are very happy as this road was made, because the time that the road was very rough, at least our community people, you see dust will even fall everywhere, accident, everything and other things.
His happiness resonates with most people in the community who spoke with NTA News. For the Etsunupe Abubakar Sanganua, the magnanimous gesture is a national gain.
Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, up to the north. So this work has been given and it's going on very fine. So we appreciate.
Under the scheme, selected road projects funded by NNPC and the equivalent amount will be deducted by FIRS from NNPC's tax obligation.
This is the only time after 42 years or thereabout that this road is being reconstructed. So we want to appreciate Mr. President.
It is good development that the Federal Revenue Service and NNPC have come in, and we can see value for money.
We are doing 1,800 kilometers across the country. We are taking another set of over ₦1 trillion of investment in road infrastructure in the country. We believe that this tax credit system, which Mr. President has put in place, is a game changer for our country.
The delegation also inspected ongoing rehabilitation and expansion of Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The joy of the people of Badagry is palpable as they all applauded the partners and the president for the road project.
And thank Buhari for what they are doing for us in Badagry.
It may be recalled that on the 25th of January 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Executive Order 007 on Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme. The scheme is for a period of 10 years from its commencement date. Other key stakeholders in the scheme are the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and the Federal Inland Revenue Service. From Badagry, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile, in collaboration with Borno State Government, has flagged off the disbursement of more than 2 billion naira as large school improvement grants to 180 schools. The occasion, held at the Government House, Maiduguri, also featured an award presentation to 12 persons for outstanding performance in the education sector in the state, as well as an NUT award for Governor Zulum for changing the narrative in the education sector. Mohammed Guni reports.
This is the first time Borno State Government is identifying and offering such a big reward to teachers for their outstanding performance in the education sector, catching across secondary schools to basic education. As 4 awardees received 4 or 6 saloon cars, while each of the 8 went home with 1 million naira.
We normally hear teachers' reward are in heaven. I am a testimony. Teachers' reward are not just in heaven, we can also find it here on earth. And this is the result.
We really appreciate what Baba Ganai Umar did to us.
Aside the 2.6 billion naira last school improvement grant to to 108 schools. Conditional cash transfer of 45 million naira was also launched for 9,903 vulnerable and less privileged girls for the first term 2022-2023 academic session.
The transfer ranges from 3,600 to 6,700 per student in the first and second terms, which took place on the 7th of July 2022 to improve water, sanitation and hygiene, water facilities, and provision of teaching and learning services.
Agile Project Coordinator Ibrahim Baba said the project has three components that include creating safe and conducive learning space, accommodate increase in girls' enrollment and girls' transition to secondary schools, and strengthen capacity of state governments to support girls' education and empowerment. Chairman of the TSB, Datop Subeb, Executive Secretary Sangaya Board, NUT, as well as ANCOPS, applauded efforts of Governor Zulum in the education sector, assuring government of their continuous support to the cause of repositioning the sector. Merit Award was also presented to Governor Zulum by the NUT, as well as thank you card by school pupils. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Save 80 energy-efficient cooking stove, jointly designed by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, and Atmosphere Germany, has been unveiled. Chimdema Ndubisi reports that the eco-friendly energy-efficient cooking stove is proven to reduce cooking time by more than 60%.
Halima is one of many Nigerian women who use firewood for cooking. By this practice, smoke and other harmful substances are released into the atmosphere. This contributes to climate change and desertification.
I developed eye problem because of the firewood I'm using.
Halima is now all smiles as she receives the Safe 80 efficient smokeless cooking stove that uses briquettes made of agricultural waste as fuel. All raw materials used in its manufacturing were locally sourced. NASENI, in collaboration with a German company, Atmosphere, developed the cooking stove, which will help Nigeria reach its target on emission reduction by 2030. NASENI is distributing 3,000 units of the stove to IDPs, widows and the indigent.
It's safely operated, highly efficient and clean. It will use only about 20% or less of the usual cooking foil that other cooking methods will use.
So it's made of stainless steel, it has a longevity of 10 years and it has the highest efficiency. It cuts down fuel wood consumption by 80%.
An app, Save 80 Asset Tracker, has been created to monitor distribution, location and usage of the cooking stove. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari joins family members, particularly Senator Desi Danjuma, in celebrating with former Minister of Defense, Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma, as he turns 85 on December 9, 2022. The President extols the former Chief of Army Staff's meritorious service in the military, his role in promoting democracy and democratic values in the country, as well as his active participation in the private sector, contributing to the development of institutions and government. President Buhari prays for his well-being and that of his family. Time now to go over to Lagos, link up with Michael for more reports on network news. Michael?
Cyril, it has been confirmed that Nigeria has adequate petroleum products to meet the daily needs of the people without end users having to lament or face difficulties to purchase the products. This was confirmed during an inspection tour of some petroleum depot in Apapa, Lagos. Abolade Salami has the details.
Getting petroleum products in the country in the last couple of weeks has been tug of war, and the process was described as survival of the fittest, while many Nigerians ponder on what may be responsible for the scarcity of the commodity that resulted in long queues and increase in price at some independent fuel stations. Others had their facilities under lock and key. Worried by this trend, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority embarked on a fact-finding mission to some facilities at the loading bay in Apapa to ascertain were the shoe pinchers. At the first port of call, the team was briefed about the facility daily loading capacity and distribution procedure to meet up with demand.
With the volume that we have gone through in terms of trucking out and even distribution across the nation, I believe this issue of tightness in the market will be addressed very soon. I was very confident because almost all the stations that we've been to are actually dispensing there, and they have stock.
As a sign of assurance of availability of the products in sight, loading of the products for onward distribution was on, while 3 vessels were sighted on the sea waiting to offload their contents.
So in the days to come, we feel that this 28 million stock will be improved to like 50-55 million. And our truck out also has been steady for the last couple of days. We have been doing 5 million liters per day. And we expect this trend to continue for the next 1 week.
Because of our space, we have 3 PMS, and there are 3 of them 4.5 million liters. But as of yesterday, we received 2 KT out of the remaining 3.8 KT, so we have 1.8 KT left. So that's why we are trying to troop out.
On the availability of the product during and after the youth-out period, the authority assured Nigerians that no cause for alarm. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
As a way of sustaining its aggressive fight against smuggling activities, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service says deeper technological initiatives aimed at increasing surveillance and tracking questionable containers will soon be deployed. The acting controller of the zone, Hussein Yejibono, stated this in Lagos while briefing the media on seizure for the month of November. Prominent among is the interception of bags of rice equivalent of 15 trailers. This is the time of the year when demand for rice has a way of influencing increase in the smuggling of the commodity. And the numbers on the profile board for the month of November obviously reflected a trend, as close to 9,000 bags of foreign rice were seized. In fact, this new warehouse, empty about a month ago, is filled to the brim. Part of this feat is a combination of commitment and sacrifice, which the acting controller explained was tested on the 25th of November 2022 in a community in Ogun State when hoodlums opened fire on customs officers while trying to evacuate sizable bags of smuggled rice.
The pump action that was used to fire on this officer, you can see blood here. Assuming that thing gets to his eye, what do you think will happen? He will become permanently blind. And when I was called upon, I contacted the Olu of Imashai and he spoke to me on phone that your officers behaved very well.
Notwithstanding the threats to life, the customs said the operation was successful, with 14 suspects arrested in connection with the entire seizure in November. But wrong declaration of these 2x20 foot containers of tomato paste as water pump, based on the knowledge that it is import prohibited, and the consignment of 812 pieces of used tires with cartons of batteries, will be shaping anti-smuggling drive in the future, just as the acting controller warned of the imminent danger of patronizing smuggled goods.
We shouldn't allow our country to become a dumping ground. Nigeria is well blessed. The service is trying to have what we call a tracking device to track containers that leave the port. I already have the facility here with me.
For the month of November, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A intercepted goods with duty paid value of more than 1 billion naira and equally collected 43 million naira, which could have been lost to undervaluation, underdeclaration, and application of wrong harmonized system codes. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news will be back shortly. Please stay.
It depends you. It depends us. It depends everybody. Yes. But bloodshed,
scatter comot, e no go solve am. This one dey talk, and make them go if they wan go. This one dey talk, we go comot, we go go. This one say make we scatter, make we burn, make we do everything. When you scatter finish, where you go? Okay, you go take private jet, carry your family go. But make I ask you, what about your uncle, mama, auntie, brother, sister? What about them? Remember, don't throw stone for market. You don't know whether the stone go touch your own person. If the thing will go come out from your mouth, you no go fit gather us together as one people. Shut up with please. War no get friend. You don't know language, you don't know anything. So if our get too much, make we sit down at the table of dialogue. Nigeria na my own, Nigeria na your own, Nigeria na our own. Make we come together, keep them together.
Our journey home begins with a single step. It doesn't matter which direction we walk in. We'll always find our way home.
There you are.
Sometimes we pick up friends along the way.
Ishaya, our best friend.
Sometimes we make enemies.
People love a good friend.
Because there is no journey without an adventure. Every day we move forward into the unknown. Because every step forward brings us closer to home. This is our home. Join us as we showcase the best from Destination Nollywood. Because Nollywood is home on Netflix.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, don't worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
In a third final in 20 years.
This out of this boat, now you can get a GoTV decoder, channel, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 Naira and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Every Harmattan, he falls sick so frequently and misses school often. I keep him away from junk food.
He also feeds more apple. She said an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then use Dettol soap regularly. Germs and disease spread easily during Harmattan. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
We're back in Abuja now. Following the merger of Sigma Pensions and First Guarantee Pensions, Access Pensions says it is ready to extend its footprints to the continent in what it described as the best in pension business. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Access Pensions, Dave Uduanu, at the unveiling of Access Pensions in Abuja, said the fund has an objective to tap into the huge informal sector with unique products and services. Leah Katum-Babatunde completes the story.
A new dawn in the pensions industry with the formal presentation of Access Pensions to the public. A future earlier seen is now here. This is coming days after the completion of the acquisition of Sigma Pensions by First Guarantee Pensions owned by Access Holdings. Dave Uduanu is the Managing Director of Access Pensions and says they are positioned to be a proudly Nigerian pension fund administrator with a vision to create a globally connected community, an ecosystem inspired by Africa for the world.
Now, the fourth biggest pension fund administrator in Nigeria. Our ambition is to be the biggest pension fund in Nigeria within a planned period of 5 years. We believe that the market is right for disruption. We believe that there are still untapped opportunities in the pension space, and we believe that Access Pension, with the backing of Access Bank, the biggest bank in Nigeria, we are very well positioned to take this.
So we're working with the regulators to actually give access to these monies before your retirement age. So things like mortgages, home ownership, we would love to help to actually make that happen.
With a mission to provide every generation with the knowledge, advice, and tools to create their future, officials of the fund say that pensions is a fundamental right and are willing to assist the public in that regard.
Again, we're bigger, definitely we're better, we're stronger, and we can only just get better in all that we do.
And then you will have the advantage of synergy. Access Pension is a big group with about 25 verticals.
With a belief that the best way to predict the future is to create it, Access Pension say it will tread everywhere Access Bank, as the largest bank in the country, has footprints in Africa. In Abuja, Leah Baba Tunde, NTA News.
Time now to talk business with Benny. Benny?
Thank you and welcome to Business. Start by telling you that a few days after briefing President Muhammadu Buhari on the nation's investment drive, management of Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission (NIPC) is engaging stakeholders from ministries, departments and agencies relevant to their mandate with a view to strengthening existing synergies, establish new relationships and linkages that would facilitate the objective of investment promotion and obtain feedback on areas of challenges of investors in the course of doing business in Nigeria.
Services segment, which will look at education and promote investment into that sector. Also looking at pharmaceuticals, health sector, so much more.
The Commission says it is also working on Nigerian Investment Promotion Master Plan, a National Investment Promotion Coordination Framework, in addition to MOUs that seek to streamline investment promotion and facilitation activities towards improving investment climate. And taking a look at the market, Nigerian stocks today recorded the first decline of the week after 3 days of gains. At the end of today's trading session, a total of 148.1 shares in 3,391 deals, corresponding to a market value of 2.9 billion naira, were traded. Compared with previous trading day, today's data shows 1% improvement in volume, 11% decline in turnover, but 21% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 26.3 trillion naira. Eco Transnational recorded the highest volume of 26.4 million traded shares, followed by FBN Holdings, Transcap Nigeria, Access Holdings. Well, that is Business News. Network News continues with Serial.
Thank you, Benny. The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation has marked its special day at the ongoing Kano International Trade Fair with a definitive testament of safety and security of bank depositors in the face of emerging banking policies aimed at sanitizing the Nigerian financial system. Managing Director of the corporation, Bello Hassan, disclosed that between January and November this year, more than 8.3 billion naira insured deposits have been recovered from banks and returned to respective depositors across the country. Aminu Umar reports.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation is at the Kano International Trade Fair for more advocacy, sensitization and reassurance to Nigerians of a safe and stable financial system in the country. In his address, the Managing Director of the corporation, Bello Hassan, represented appeal to depositors and other bank customers to utilize opportunities provided in channeling their complaints to resolve issues with their insured institutions. He said the NDIC will continue to support government towards unleashing the nation's economic potential through collaboration on key policies and programs.
While others are in trade fairs to sell goods, we have to provide services at no cost by enlightening on how best to get a role in financial services. Government in its wisdom has given so many interventions, but a lot of people are not opportune. They are excluded in the sense that they don't have accounts.
Every deposit, whether small or big, is secured by their entity so that nobody loses any resource that is entrusted to the financial or to the banking sector in the country.
The day was an opportunity for people to enjoy the magnanimity of the NDIC by winning various prizes through raffle draws. Distinguished guests at the event were taken around the NDIC pavilion to see for themselves a range of services the corporation provides. In Kano, Amin Umar, NTA News.
There is a belief that mathematics helps students develop problem-solving skills and thinking outside the box. Now, talking about thinking outside the box, Abdul Malik Hassan tells us about the annual National Mathematics Competition organized by the Nigerian Tulip International Colleges.
Not every student understands the logic behind mathematics, even though they may be taught at the same time, but the ability to comprehend and the speed differs. Interestingly, there are some who find this logic easy. You find this set of individuals providing solutions to a question within the twinkle of an eye. Another national mathematics competition. Here are different stages of accreditation, and lined up are pupils and students with prospects.
So before it was primary 5 and 6, so they were the ones participating. Now JSS 3 students are also participating now, and they are having the chance to get scholarships into NTIC schools in Nigeria. I hope that they have studied well and they are going to have great time today during the examination.
15,000 pupils of Basic 5 and 6 and over 5,000 students of JSS 3 participated in categories of this competition. In addition to this, the organizer of the competition says successful participants from the first stage in both categories will receive cash reward and eligible for the second phase that will allow winners get full school scholarship into Nigerian Tulip International Colleges. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
President Muhammad Buhari has condoled with his extended family members on the demise of his niece, Hajia Laraba Dauda, who died leaving behind children and grandchildren. She is survived by several brothers and sisters, including Malam Mamandawra, the president's nephew. President Buhari described the late Laraba as a caring mother, full of life and witty, who was very passionate about the welfare of her family. The president prayed for the repose of her soul. That concludes Network News tonight. We thank you for watching. Remember, the fight against rape and rapists is on. Team up with the NTA. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake